Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. We are so excited to have Myaann from Myaann Image on our Do Good Business mini-series today. If you haven't watched this before, my name is Morgan Heinrich, and I'm the Director of Marketing at Legacy Purchasing Group. Today, we're going to be talking about mastering personal branding. What does that mean? How does it work during virtual meetings? And what business owners need to know. So, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm actually ready for it to be crisp fall instead of pumpkin spice summer, but you know, it's what it is.
I love that. I mean, that's so accurate, especially if you're anybody's watching from Texas, you know what's going on right now. It was 92 degrees yesterday.
Oh yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us today. You are fantastic. It's such a pleasure knowing you. And I'm so happy you could have you on our Do Good Business mini-series and talk about this. So for those of you who don't know her, Myaann is a personal branding expert and professional stylist. She's dressed people that we've seen on TV, famous people that is fascinating, executives on each coast and across the country. You just have done so much, and you are just such an amazing person. So thank you so much for joining us today. I wanted to say that if anybody has any questions, just put them in the chat below and we'll be answering them at the end. So let's dive right into it. Yes. Okay, so I talked a little bit about you. Can you tell me about yourself?
Oh gosh. Well, Morgan talked about the business part, so I can tell you a little bit about my personal life. I am a Texas native that lived in LA and worked in the fashion industry out there. I've lived in the country of Mexico, and I've kind of been all around the world gathering inspiration. And now I'm back in Texas. And I've always known that helping people was what I'm on earth to do. And so now I've found something that I love to do, you know, in a creative sense, helping dress people. And I'm, you know, being able to fulfill, I feel my life's mission.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and just, you have such great style. The first time I met you, I mean, you walked into the room and everyone was immediately like, who is she? You just looked amazing, and you always do. And you can tell that about yourself. Like, you illuminate the people around you. So why is personal branding important for business owners? Shouldn't the product or service speak for itself?
Personal branding is like the pinnacle of importance in a business. As a business owner, you are your billboard. I mean, unless you have like a paid spokesperson that is your billboard, you are your billboard at the grocery store, at the pickup line, at school, everywhere. So I feel like it's extremely important because you never know when you're going to meet a customer or a client and have an opportunity to hand off a business card.
Yeah. And you just talked about running into somebody at the grocery store. I mean, so many times I've run into people getting my nails done or random places like that. And you never know.
You don't. Yeah. You don't.
Okay, so how would the owner of a business that isn't visual create a personal brand?
For that, I would say that, well, when I work with clients that don't have a visual company, we go back to who is your ideal client or your ideal customer. Yeah. So as long as you are, you know, you present yourself in a way that that person would be attracted to you, then that's how we kind of go about that.
Yeah. Can you give us an example of different types of clients that you've worked with that you've had to work with that?
Let me think. Well, I have a client that's actually transitioning more into speaking and workshops, but she started out just with career, oh my gosh, it's pregnancy brain. I'm telling you, I'm completely losing resume writing, career, interview prep, career development. And so she started out there, but now that she's branded herself, she's getting more opportunities to speak, be on stage, host workshops, be invited to different summits and things like that. So now I can kind of see how we branded her in the beginning, and now it's kind of progressed into, you know, her business has progressed and she's grown in.
That is so neat. And I know that you do a lot with different workshops and business summits and stuff like that, and helping women and men learn how to dress themselves and really brand themselves. So on that topic, okay, style. So you're a professional stylist, but you're also a pretty personal branding expert. So style versus brand. Is it the same?
Based on my philosophy, it pretty much is. I don't ever want anyone to be so out of their comfort zone that it's not authentic. And so when we talk about personal brand, it's your style. It's what makes you feel your best. Because if you put on an outfit and you know that you are, that sharp dressed man, or you put on that blazer and you know that you feel, as good as you can feel, then your confidence is raised. And so it's your style and your brand. It's meshed into kind of one.
Yeah. I like that. Everyone has their lucky t-shirt, or not t-shirt, lucky shirt, they wear to interviews or things like that. Or even with a launching and presenting to a client, everybody has that item of clothing. And we talked about that yesterday. So if you guys didn't see that yesterday, watch yesterday's video. Okay, so do you have a specific method for helping create a personal brand for a business owner?
Yes. It's kind of like an A to Z method. So I start with, you fill out a form. I see where you are. And then in that form, I have I have a place for goals. So I look at what your goals are, where you are to begin with. And then we just kind of like make a plan in between A and Z.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that is so cool. Talking about that goal that you want to set.
I mean, and it's personal goals, it's business goals, it's closet goals. Do you have too much stuff? Do you feel like you need to throw everything out and start over, or do you feel like we can work with what you have? And so we kind of like look at all those goals and all those facets and get you from point A to point Z, I guess. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so the reason why we're all here today, so you talk about branding at all times. What about the virtual meetings? How do you adjust to these virtual Zoom meetings? I mean, that we really rarely ever did before. How can a business owner brand themselves on camera? I know each person has their own brand, and that is different, but what looks good on the virtual camera?
For virtual meetings and things, it's kind of, you kind of wear your same style, but keeping it to more solids, abstract prints, or something that's like not too loud, because you definitely, you've only got this much space to be seen in. So whatever you've got from here up, you don't want it to distract from what you're saying. You don't want your clothes to be speaking louder than you are, so that your point can be made and you can be heard.
Okay, so you said abstract prints are okay, but not too loud. Do you have any colors that you don't recommend, like you recommend against? You say, do not wear this on camera.
Probably if you are up against like a solid color background, don't wear that color or anything similar. Like if you have, if you have like a blue wall that's behind you, then you don't want to really wear any color of blue. You'd want to wear more like on the red, yellow, orange side of the color wheel, so that it pops against it. But again, solids.
Okay. Solids. That is cool. So wear a contrasting color.
Kind of contrasting. Yeah. But again, solids. And then the other thing about like the actual background itself, I try to steer clear of words, like any posters or anything with words in the background. I'm trying to think of like my major offenders that I've seen. Oh my God. You have a ceiling fan, because not everybody has a home office either. Some people are like officing from the dining room, so if your camera angle is into like your living room, make sure the TV's turned off, and make sure that like there's no ceiling fan in the back, because it's so distracting to have like a ceiling fan, just like whirring in the background.
And you can see it, especially, I mean, I have a fan going right here. I need it when I'm sitting in here. But okay, the ceiling fan, you said no words, so posters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, even in here in the office, I've got, things that have words on them, but I wouldn't put them back here just because I wouldn't want anybody to try to be, reading what the poster or the sign says.
Yeah. So do you have any advice for styling what's behind you on camera? Do you recommend the flat wall? Do you recommend some dimension? What about branding? How does it go into it?
I personally like that where it looks more authentic.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm in my office now. I have, let me get camera angles right. Hello. So I have some of like my products up here. These are actually boxes that have, storage, like items that I use. I've got like my salt lamp going, my little aloe. So it's pieces of me, but it's not overwhelming. I love that you've got greenery in the back because that's very you, very ethereal and earthy, and yeah. So it's it's branded. It's also branded.
These are all my colors. If anybody knows. Okay, cool. I mean, but legacy is the blue. So usually, I mean, Ashley and I will try to wear like blue and white when we're on camera to make it really go with the company colors and stuff. I mean, you do photo shoots too, and you talk about branding in that and bringing out those colors. I mean, we just did one. So if anybody wants to check it out, it's going to be on our social media feed. Okay, so you talked about no stripes, correct?
That was one thing about the prints I don't think I touched on. So I don't know if anybody's ever watched like a morning news, anything, where if one of the gentlemen has on like a houndstooth print blazer or a striped tie, there's something about the camera that'll make it look like it's moving. And this is something in my years in LA that I spent in acting class. I learned a lot about being on camera and how to be on camera, what to wear and what not to wear. So there's certain prints, the smaller the print, the worse it is. I don't know why, especially black and white stripes that are close together. It'll like bounce, and it's just like, it's a little aggravating.
That is so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because usually, I mean, I just had a shirt that I about put on that had stripes on it, and I came over and I looked in the camera and I was like, nope.
Nope. Mm-hmm. It's fine for a photo shoot. It's fine for anything else, but there's something about video that it looks like it's moving. Yeah.
And okay, so really quick question. So we're talking about jewelry for women, men. Do you wear the full suit? How dressed up do you get when you're in front of the camera?
Well, and I forgot about one of my male clients. That is he's a senior vice president for a tech company, and he went from, just really, really behind the scenes to stepping into this senior VP position, and he needed to upgrade everything, because he's in tech. He was used to wearing more comfortable clothing. So when he was conducting these meetings, I just had him wear some sort of just kind of like sport coat, not a proper blazer, either a polo or a button down, no tie. Now, unless you are in a profession, I can't think of that many anymore that require a suit and tie, finance, lawyers, then yes, I would probably say go ahead and be in your full regalia, like as if you were in the office. I think everybody sort of understands that we're all kind of like working from home. And so you can kind of dial it down a little bit. So a little bit more casual. Did that answer the question? I just
and I asked about jewelry too.
What'd you say?
I asked about jewelry too. We're both wearing pretty big earrings, but like,
for women, especially, just one statement piece, just one. So I have like my little necklace that I like rarely take off, and just like contrasting color earring. And yes, I would do one, and not anything that makes a lot of noise. Like no bangle bracelets or earrings even that make noise that can be distracting.
Yeah, that's something good to think about, because I just got earrings from Kinder Scott that do make noise, and I'm like, be quiet. Okay, so we're almost at time. So before we go to questions, do you have any last minute tips, tricks, or anything for getting ready for those virtual meetings, or even branding in general and helping your wardrobe?
For the, okay, so both. I would say go ahead and kind of carve out a little place in your closet where you put, several different, basically I was going to say outfits, but not really, because you could wear, athletic pants every single day almost. But some, waist up options that are set aside in your closet already. And maybe, yeah, with a jacket over it for the guys, or, hang up a couple of, earrings or, a necklace or something for the ladies, so that if you ever have anything last minute, because you always want to stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
At least out of the way. And if, a client wanted to talk, like, oh my gosh, can we Zoom in 15 minutes? And at least you've got that done. And then you can kind of finagle the rest.
I know. We've had those last minute meetings where it's like, oh, let's do a FaceTime. And we're home. And you're ready to get ready. And so at least you have your clothes laid out, so you do look nice and ready when you're on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go to questions. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. We're currently streaming on Twitter, YouTube, our website, as well as Facebook. So if you can't ask any questions on there, shoot us a message, info@legacypurchasing.com. But okay, so let's go to some questions. Okay. Okay. So do you have a service specifically for helping business owners brand themselves on camera?
Yes, actually, it's my personal branding package, and I specifically work with entrepreneurs. And again, we just go through. We start out with, where are you right now in your business? Where are you right now personally? And then we talk about your business financial goals. We go through who's your ideal client or customer, and I get you from point A to point Z to the pinnacle.
Okay, so question from Rachel. Okay, so when you talk about branding, is that color? That was her question.
Okay. Branding, it's kind of a vibe. And I know that vibe is like an overused word, but it's the aesthetic, it's the color, it's the look and feel. So if you're a minimalist interior designer, you probably wouldn't walk out with tons of jewelry on and tons of different bright colors and tons of things like that. You'd probably brand yourself to more maybe like a black, white, and neutral wardrobe. Yeah. Simple, clean lines with maybe some pops of color here and there that mimic. So it's kind of like when they see your business card and they see any postcard of yours, they see your website, and then they see you in person, it should all be congruent. It should all look and feel the same.
Yeah, I really like that. And we'll talk about social media marketing later. We'll be having a mini series on that. My favorite thing. Oh. But okay, so then one last question for you. One last question for you. How have you been working with clients to help them brand themselves during the pandemic?
It's been a lot of Zoom meeting setup. I actually created a package where we literally either Zoom or FaceTime, and I have my clients walk me through their house to find the best setup, first of all, lighting wise, sit in front of a window. That's the first thing that I ask. Okay, where's all the brightest windows in your house? Yeah. And then we figure out, okay, what table can you use? Are you gonna grab your desktop or laptop, and then let's go to the closet and let's see what works. And then, so I've been doing a lot of that.
That's amazing. And we can still do this like this,
Yes.
And then really quick, do you have any exciting news going on? I know that you've been talking about the things behind you.
Yes. One more angle. I am launching an inspired line of products, starting with an everyday closet spray. And so right now we're not really, we are in the closet, but not like before. So I've walked into a couple of my clients' closets, and I'm like, it feels a little stale. It feels a little stagnant, energetically, and just the air. And so And sometimes, you know, when you're working from home, it's not always super easy to be ultra motivated, you know, with pep in your step. And it's different when you're jumping in your car and, you know, grabbing your coffee on the way to the office and having your little drive, and maybe you're listening to a podcast or music, but you're literally like migrating from your bedroom to the kitchen to your office, wherever your office may be. And so I just wanted to really create something that's uplifting, and not only like, kind of like I said, from an energetic standpoint, to kind of give you a little like pep in your step every morning, but also to kind of refresh the closet and your space.
Okay. That's awesome and so exciting. And so if they want to contact you or anything, where should they find you?
Just my website. It's www.mynnimage.com.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I will share all your information on our posts and stuff like that. If you guys have any questions at all, just feel free to pop them in the chat, and mine will be getting back to you. But thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Morgan, for having me.
And Rachel said, she said, thank you for answering her question.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Okay, bye. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.